Srimad has a call at 8 o'clock. Yeah. Sahadev. Brihat has a call at 8. Sahadev. And very puffed up. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavalabha Giri Vadadari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavalabha Giri Vadadari. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavalabha Giri Vadadari. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavalabha Giri Vadadari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavalabha Giri Vadadari. Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yamunatiravanachari Yamunatiravanachari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Gaur Premanande, Haribol, Shishirada Kalachandji Ki Jai, Grantra Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Together, Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devam Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayat Nashtaprayeshu Badreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavat Yutama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. We say the English for those, or? Yeah, why not? By regular attendance in classes, before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayan. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam, and by the rendering of service to the pure devotee, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much for your kind attendance and for listening. At least I'm expecting you all to listen because you're all very nice devotees. Not because I'm going to say anything special, but because the nature of the text of Srimad Bhagavatam is, it's amazing. Every syllable, Sanatana Goswami says, is filled with nectar. And we're very fortunate to be here in Radhakala Chandji Dham and reading together. So we're finishing chapter 8 today, from text 46 to 52. And we're going to focus on number 49. So yeah, whoever has the mic, please begin reading. You could take this one.
Having heard of the great fortune of Mother Yashoda, Maharaj Parikshit inquired from Shukadeva Goswami, O learned Brahmana, Mother Yashoda's breast milk was sucked by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What past auspicious activity did she and Nanda Maharaj perform to achieve such perfection in ecstatic love?
Although Krishna was so pleased with Vasudeva and Devaki that he ascended as their son, they could not enjoy Krishna's magnanimous childhood pastimes, which are so great that simply chanting about them vanquishes the contamination of the material world. Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda, however, enjoyed these pastimes fully, and therefore their position is always better than that of Vasudeva and Devaki.
Shukadeva Goswami said, to follow the orders of Lord Brahma, Drona, the best of the Vasus, along with his wife Dara, spoke to Lord Brahma in this way.
Drona and Dara said, please permit us to be born on the planet Earth so that after our appearance, the Supreme Lord, the Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Controller and Master of all planets, will also appear and spread devotional service, the ultimate goal of life, so that those born in this material may very easily be delivered from the miserable condition of materialistic life by accepting this devotional service.
When Brahma said, yes, let it be so, the most fortunate Drona, who was equal to Bhagwan, appeared in Rajpura, Vrindavan, as the most famous Nanda Maharaj, and his wife Dara appeared as Mother Yashoda.
Thereafter, O Maharaj Praksit, best of the Bharats, when the Supreme Personality of Godhead became the son of Nanda Maharaj and Yasoda, they maintained continuous, unswerving, devotional love and parental affection. And in their association, all the other inhabitants of Vrindavan and the Gopas and Gopis developed the culture of Krishna Bhakti.
Thus the Supreme Personality Krishna, along with Balaram, lived in Vrajbhumi, Vrindavan, just to substantiate the benediction of Brahma. By exhibiting different pastimes in his childhood, he increased the transcendental pleasure of Nanda and other inhabitants of Vrindavan.
Okay, now on to text 49 for the recitation of the verse and the purport translation. Jayator no Mahadevi Jatayor no Mahadevi Bhuvi Vishware Haro Bhakti Syat Parama Loke Yajanjo Durgatim Taret. Please chant. Jatayor no Mahadevi Bhuvi Vishweshvare Haro Bhakti Syat Padama Loke Yayanjo Durgatim Taret. Jatayor no Mahadevi Bhuvi Vishweshvare Haro Bhakti Syat Padama Loke Yajanjo Durgatim Taret. Jatayor no Mahadevi Bhuvi Vishweshvare Haro Bhakti Syat Padama Loke Yajanjo Durgatim Taret. Jatayorno Mahadeve Bhuvi Vishweshware Haro Bhakti Syat Padama Loke Yayanjo Durgatim Taret Jatayorno Mahadeve Bhuvi Vishweshware Haro Bhakti Syat Parama Loke Yajanjo Durgatim Taret. Thank you. On to the synonyms together. Jatayo, after we two have taken births. Now, both husband and wife, Drona and Dhara, Mahadeve, in the Supreme Person, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhuvi, on the earth, Vishwa Ishware, in the Master of all the planetary systems, Haro, in the Supreme Lord, Bhaktihi, devotional service, Syat, will be spread, Parama, the ultimate goal of life, Loke, in the world, Yaya, by which, Anja, very easily, Durgatim, miserable life, Taret, one can avoid and be delivered. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Drona and Dhara said, please permit us to be born on the planet Earth, so that after our appearance, the Supreme Lord, the Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Controller and Master of all planets, will also appear and spread devotional service, the ultimate goal of life, so that those born in this material world may very easily be delivered from the miserable condition of materialistic life by accepting devotional service. Purport. Would anyone like to read the purport? Okay, no problem, I'll read it. This statement by Drona clearly indicates that Drona and Dhara are the eternal father and mother of Krishna. Whenever there is a necessity of Krishna's appearance, Drona and Dhara appear first, and then Krishna appears. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that his birth is not ordinary, janma karma cha me divyam. And he says, Ajopi san avyayatma bhutanam ishwaropi san prakritim swam adishtaya sambhavam yatma mayaya. Although I am unborn and my transcendental body never deteriorates, and although I am the Lord of all sentient beings, I still appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form. Bhagavad Gita 4.6. Before Krishna's appearance, Drona and Dhara appear in order to become his father and mother. It is they who appear as Nanda Maharaj and his wife Yashoda. In other words, it is not possible for a sadhana siddha, living being, to be the father or mother of Krishna, for Krishna's father and mother are already designated. But by following the principles exhibited by Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda and their associates, the inhabitants of Vrindavan, ordinary living beings, I kind of said that in a weird cadence. But by following the principles exhibited by Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda and their associates, the inhabitants of Vrindavan, ordinary living beings may attain such affection as exhibited by Nanda and Yashoda. When Drona and Dhara were requested to beget children, they chose to come to this world to have the Supreme Personality of Godhead as their son, Krishna. Krishna's appearance means Paritranaya Sadhunam Vinashaya Chaduskritam. The devotees are protected, and the miscreants are vanquished. Whenever Krishna comes, he distributes the highest goal of life, devotional service. He appears as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for the same purpose, because unless one comes to devotional service, one cannot be delivered from the miseries of the material world, Dukhalayam Ashashvatam, where the living beings struggle for existence. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 15.7, Mamai vangso jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana mana shashtanindriyani prakriti stani karshati. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Because of conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the 6 senses which include the mind. The living entities are struggling to become happy, but unless they take to the bhakti cult, their happiness is not possible. Krishna clearly says, Ashadhadhana purusha dharmasyasya parantapa aprapya mam nivartante mrityu samsara vartmani. Those who are not faithful on the path of devotional service cannot attain me, O conqueror of foes, but return to birth and death in this material world. Foolish persons do not know how risky life is here if one does not follow the instructions of Krishna. The Krishna consciousness movement, therefore, has been started so that by practicing Krishna consciousness, one can avoid the risky life of this material existence. There is no question of accepting or not accepting Krishna consciousness. It is not optional. It is compulsory. If we do not take to Krishna consciousness, our life is very risky. Everything is explained in the Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, to learn how to become free from the miserable condition of material existence, Bhagavad Gita as it is the preliminary study. Then, if one understands Bhagavad Gita, one can proceed to Srimad Bhagavatam, and if one advances further, one may study Chaitanya Charitamrita. We are therefore presenting these invaluable books to the whole world so that people may study them and be happy, being delivered from miserable conditioned life. Om Jnana Tamarandasya Gyananjana Shalakya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastita Deshatarine. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, so thank you all very much. So, we were reading chapter 8. Yesterday we heard a wonderful class from His Holiness Tamal Krishna Goswami for the occasion of his disappearance day that we celebrated. And the day before that, we were hearing about Krishna actually showing Mother Yashoda the universal form by being accused by his friends and then his brother, ultimately Balaram, that he was eating dirt. And this was a cause of disturbance for Mother Yashoda because as his mother, she's working very hard in the mood of affection, trying to provide, she is providing, obviously, so many nice meals and sweetmeats and different varieties of preparations for his enjoyment. So if she's working so hard to do this, then why should he be eating dirt? So then, Krishna goes on and eats it, apparently, although he denies it. And then Mother Yashoda inquires from him, and he shows her the universal form within his mouth, because everything is ultimately within Krishna. He says in the Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 10, text 8, Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravartate, that everything is coming from him and that he is the source of everything. So Mother Yashoda, she saw that, and then she got a little disturbed. We heard in the reading from a couple days ago. I'll just go back and kind of recount it. In text 42. In text 40, Mother Yashoda starts saying, "Is this a dream, or is it an illusory creation by the external energy? Has this been manifested by my own intelligence, this universal form that she's seeing, or is it some mystic power of my child?" She goes on to say, "Let me therefore surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead and offer my obeisances unto Him, who is beyond the conception of human speculation, the mind, activities, words, and arguments, who is the original cause of this cosmic manifestation, by whom the entire cosmos is maintained, and by whom we can conceive of its existence. Let me simply offer my obeisances, for He is beyond my contemplation, speculation, and meditation. He is beyond all my material activities." 42, she says, "It is by the influence of the Supreme Lord's Maya that I am wrongly thinking that Nanda Maharaj is my husband, that Krishna is my son, and that because I am the queen of Nanda Maharaj, all the wealth of my cows and calves are my possessions, and all the cowherd men and their wives are my subjects. Actually, I also am eternally subordinate to the Supreme Lord. He is my ultimate shelter." And then Shukadeva Goswami goes on to say, "Mother Yashoda, by the grace of the Lord, could understand the real truth, but then again the Supreme Master, by the influence of the internal potency, Yogamaya, inspired her to become absorbed in intense maternal affection for her son. Immediately forgetting Yogamaya's illusion that Krishna had shown the universal form within his mouth, Mother Yashoda took her son on her lap as before, feeling increased affection in her heart for her transcendental child. So, yeah, she's feeling a little bewildered because of this experience of seeing everything, including herself in Vrindavan, in Krishna's mouth, kind of like an infinite. I don't know. I was thinking like if she's seeing herself in his mouth, and then is she seeing his mouth in his mouth, and does it just keep going like infinite in that way? Who can imagine what it's like to see the universal form? But yeah, it's bewildering her. So her parental affection is being disturbed, and she starts to really contemplate, well, who is Krishna? I'm thinking that I'm the queen of Vrindavan and Nanda Maharaj, and that I own all of these things, and that I have all of these subjects and stuff like that. But she's becoming a little bewildered by it. But the interesting thing is that with our Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy is that that's actually her real self. In this world, we experience attachment to different things, and our false ego, our ahankara, it makes us think that we're a certain kind of person. I'm American, I'm Indian, I'm older, I'm younger, I'm a student, or I'm a professional, I'm a man or a woman. And we have these kinds of attachments in these relationships. This is my mother, this is my father, these are my children, these are my friends. And in the material world, we're understanding that we have to overcome this false ego and resituate ourselves as servants of Krishna, which is our ultimate position. Jiva Swarupa Hoy, Krishna Nityadas, Lord Chaitanya says in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So, but it's the exact opposite in Vrindavan. It's like working in reverse. Mother Yashoda is actually Krishna's mom, and she is actually the queen of Vrindavan, and she is the queen of Nanda Maharaj, and she is actually she has all these subjects, all these people adore her. She has these relationships. This is like real reality. The six Goswamis of Vrindavan are glorified. Nana Shastra Vicharanaika Nipuno Sad Dharma Samstapako. Sad Dharma, they are Samstapako. They are establishing Sad Dharma, the eternal Dharma, the eternal religious principles, understanding that we're actually we have a relationship with Krishna. We have a relationship with the Supreme. It's more than just trying to let go of all of our material attachments and connect with the source of everything in an impersonal way, but it's going beyond the impersonal aspect, which is kind of elementary in the understanding of the absolute truth, and then connecting with his actual personal form, Bhagavan, and all of the varieties of enjoyment in transcendence, movement within transcendence. So these verses today are more or less, it's giving backstory about Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj, and it's a very technical thing. These two personalities, Drona and Dara. I'm not really going to get into the technicalities of it, but basically, Srila Prabhupada is talking about in the purport, and these verses that we read today speak about how Krishna is appearing in this world and giving us an opportunity to reconnect with our actual, connect with our real nature as spirit souls, and to overcome the ignorance. The avidya, which Rupa Goswami says is the disease which prevents us from connecting with Krishna in his names and forms and everything. Get over our ignorance in this world and reestablish ourselves as servants of Krishna. So it's from the kindness of Krishna that he is appearing in this world. And in the Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 4, there's a string of verses from text 4 all the way to text 9 about, two of them were quoted in this purport, which discuss the nature of Krishna, because people become confused because the activities of Krishna are so human-like. They appear human-like, but they're also very wonderful. Like he's expanding himself in Dwarka, in the form, in 16,108 forms to enjoy and live with his 16,108 wives in different palaces. So it's beyond the ordinary, it's super ordinary, extraordinary, Krishna's pastimes. But at the same time, it can appear ordinary because he is in a two-handed form and because he has relationships and friendships, like I was saying in the beginning, to the extent that, even the Vrajvasis, they have to become under the influence of Krishna's powerful energy, Yoga Maya, in order to forget that he is God so they can actually enjoy their relationships with him. So, in the beginning of the Gita, in the beginning of chapter 4 of the Gita, Krishna says, although I am unborn and my transcendental body never deteriorates, and although I am the Lord of all living entities, by my internal energy, I still appear every millennium in my original transcendental form. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharat, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself. To deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion, I myself appear millennium after millennium. So that's kind of like the what Krishna is doing, and then text 9 is kind of like it's kind of like our impetus for understanding. One who does not know the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities, one who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but he attains my eternal abode, or Arjuna. Janma naiti, mam eti. So Arjuna is no more janma, no more birth, but mam eti, but he attains mam, or me. So this is Krishna's kindness to us. He's appearing in so many forms. It's beyond the actual, there are so many different kinds of avatars, yuga avatars and guna avatars, and they're delineated in the Bhagavatam. And there's the actual form of Krishna himself who comes to this world more rarely. But he also has the holy name, which is the primary form that we are connecting with in Kali Yuga by the grace of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is another form of Krishna himself. Krishna is also descending as the spiritual master. Sakshad Harit Tvena Samasta Shastra Uktastata Bhavyata Eva Sadbi Kintu Prabhurya Priya Evatasya Vande Kuroshi Charanarvindam. That the spiritual master is, for all practical sake, he is Krishna appearing to us. So it behooves us to have that kind of respect to him and to serve him in that way because he is giving us Krishna. He is so dear to Krishna. Kintu Prabhurya Priya, he's very Priya, very dear to Krishna. So, there are so many ways that we connect with Krishna in all of these different forms, and the devotees themselves, because Krishna also says in the Gita, Madchitta Madgata Prana Bodhayantas Parasparam Katayantas Chamam Nityam Tushanti Cha Ramanti Cha, that devotees are always dwelling in Krishna. Their minds are always thinking about Krishna. Madchitta Madgata Prana. And their lives are all going to Krishna. They're devoting their lives to Krishna. So if you want to understand Krishna, you have to associate with devotees. It's not an optional program. And so there's so many forms that we can connect with. And out of kindness, Krishna is giving us this opportunity, because this world is dukkhalayam ashashvatam. It is constantly full of suffering. It's full of suffering in so many ways. You try to push it down in one, like there's an example a devotee gives is that there was a spider in their room, like a cobweb, and there was a cobweb in the corner of the room, and they were cleaning it, and then they saw there was a fly trapped in it. They're like, oh, okay, well, I'll clean the cobweb, and then I'll save the fly. Perfect, it's two good things. And then he was thinking, wait, but then I'm going to be destroying the spider's home, and I'm going to be starving the spider. So in this world, it's just like, hunted. Some people are hunting, some people are being hunted. You push it down in one place and then it comes up in another place. There's no way that you can balance things out here. You have to go beyond the material energy, because we're all in the material world. You're more or less just living out the consequences of your actions, which are not really informed in the first place. Like Krishna says in the 3rd chapter, Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasha ahankara vimudatma kartaham iti manyate. Someone's bewildered if they think that they're the doer. Kartaham, I am the doer. Because everything is actually happening by the modes of nature. Things are just kind of like going on in effect. And then so that's why Krishna says earlier in that chapter, Krishna, I forget this. Oh, I have the Gita here. Yeah, so material nature is automatically carrying things out, and people, they're doing pious actions, they're getting pious reactions. They're doing impious actions, they're getting impious reactions. Good or bad things, their karma is coming and going, and they're passing through life after life in this world. And here it is. Text 5 of chapter 3 says, Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtatya karmakrit karyate hyavasha karma sarva prakriti jarganai. That everyone is forced to act helplessly according to the qualities that he has acquired from the modes of material nature. And there's the word there, avasha. Karyate hyavasha karma. He's forced to act helplessly according to the qualities he acquires from material nature. Therefore, no one can refrain from doing something, not even for a moment. Nahi kaschit kshanamapi. No one, not even for a moment, jatu, or at any time, tishtatya karmakrit, is able to akarmakrit, to do an akarma, to do a not doing. It's really interesting Sanskrit. But in this material world, we're basically forced to act in so many ways, and it's all just being carried out naturally. So when we get the fortune of associating with devotees, either through having a rare birth in a devotee family, honoring prasadam at the restaurant, finding a book, being given a book, hearing the holy names, that was actually my connection with Krishna at first, when I was just a lad of 17 or 16 in high school. I heard the holy names, but indirectly, like on a song, from Hair, the musical Hair. Some people are familiar with it. They actually, just a couple weeks ago, we had a class from UTA. They're doing a production of Hair. They came to the temple. Her Grace Prabhupada Priya was showing them around the temple and explaining the philosophy to them. They wanted a very immersive experience because of their kirtan that they were going to be doing. They wanted to become, pretty as bona fide as possible, understanding the philosophy. So that was my first contact with devotional service. And so, when you get that touch from a devotee, you get the mercy flowing to you from the Sankirtan movement through prasadam or through a book or through the holy names, through the association of devotees. Directly or indirectly, somehow or another, you have the opportunity to basically undo, or I shouldn't say undo, you have the opportunity to change the direction of your life from unwillingly, unceasingly, just coming and going in samsara and the cycle of birth and death. In this verse from the Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada quotes in the purport, "Those who are not faithful on the path of devotional service cannot attain me, O conqueror of foes, but they return to birth and death in this material world. Mrityu samsara vartmani." This, like the Vartma Pradarshika guru, the guru that shows you the path, they're on the samsara vartmani. They're on the path of samsara, of the path of circling around, coming and going, not being able to fully control themselves, not being able to act in their best interest, not being able to stop doing something even for a moment, and having everything that they do being caused by this external energy, which they're helpless to. So that's the program for conditioned souls, and it's really bad. People suffer a lot in so many ways, and no one is happy about it. Neither is Krishna, in one sense. Although he is completely full within himself, he has all of the 6 opulences in full. That's what the name Bhagavan denotes, that he is full of strength, beauty, knowledge, wealth, renunciation. What am I missing? And fame. And fame. Even though he's full of these 6 opulences, renunciation, he's unattached. Like in the midst of the rasa dance, he leaves the gopis who are the most beautiful, the most attractive, the most qualified, the most whatever positive adjective you can ascribe to something. The gopis are the epitome of that. And he left them just because he has that nature of being detached as well. And at the same time, he is concerned for us, and he loves us because we're his parts and parcels. We are, or in parts and parcels. In other words, sometimes I feel like I say that parts and parcels, but I don't always know exactly what it means, because I have never heard that kind of language before becoming a devotee. But we're all part of Krishna. We're all his his eternal servants, separated parts, which he has expanded from time immemorial. Natvevaham jatu nasam natvam neme janadipa. There's never a time that we haven't existed, Krishna says to Arjuna. So he cares about us. We have a relationship with him. Just like someone, like a child who's estranged from their family, even though you might not know your parents, if you realize, oh my God, my parents are alive, I can connect with them. There's so many movies and novels are written about this. There's a very famous Indian one. I forget what it's called. I feel like the word lion's in the title, but this boy, he's like at a train station with his older sibling, and then he gets separated, and then he gets on the train, and then he goes away, and then he's in another state, and they're speaking a different language, and he has no idea who his parents are, and he's a little boy, and there's, so many people in India. So then he is estranged from them his whole life. He becomes a successful man and, independent of his family, but then he realizes, oh wow, I actually have my parents. He reconnects with them, and it's such an amazing thing. And this is just a mundane example. Krishna is our father. Aham bija. You guys know the verse. Pradapita. Thank you. Yeah, he is the father, the seed-giving father of all living entities. So we have that relationship with him. And so how much more satisfying, how much more beautiful, how much more touching is it for the soul to reconnect with God? Because even in this story of the little boy who reconnects with his family, in one sense it's like, okay, this is my family, these are my parents in this life, but what about my family from my previous life? In my future birth, I'll have different parents. So it's much more touching and important that we connect with Krishna. And he wants us to, and so he gives us so many chances, like I mentioned, all the different forms we can connect with. So everything in this world is more or less, once we understand it, we can compartmentalize it. Maybe that's not the right word. But once we understand our nature, our relationship with Krishna, once we have the sambandha jnana, the knowledge of our relationship with Krishna, then we can understand how to interact with things in the world and how to see things properly. And to that end, Arjuna actually is inquiring this in the 10th chapter of the Gita, how to see Krishna in the world. And he is asking Krishna this, and then Krishna gives so many examples. Yeah, please tell me in detail of your divine opulences by which you pervade all these worlds. O Krishna, O Supreme Mystic, how shall I constantly think of you, and how shall I know you? In what various forms are you to be remembered, O Supreme Personality of Godhead? So once we have the understanding of the Sambandha, our relationship with Krishna, what the world is, then then it's about trying to see everything properly in the world and then connecting it with Krishna. And in our experience, we will have, good things happen to us and bad things happen to us. Like in the Old Testament, there's the book of Job, if anyone's familiar with that. And basically he is this gentleman who was a very pious, religious person. And so many bad things started happening in his life. And his children died, he lost his wealth, his land, his family, he got sick. And, oh Krishna, forget. If you're interested, basically this is just a story of someone who loses everything from the Old Testament of the Bible. But he is not very happy about it. He is not seeing it in the same light as someone like Sanatana Goswami, who an eternal servant, eternal associate of the Lord in Jagannath Puri. When he was there, when he was traveling there, he had this disease which created these sores on his body, and he wasn't disturbed. His devotional service necessarily wasn't disturbed by that. And there's another example. I think his name was Vasudev Ghosh, who had some kind of disease, and he had worms Is it Vasudev Ghosh or someone else? What is it? Vasudev Datta. Okay, thank you. Vasudev Datta, he was this personality from Chaitanya Lila who had some kind of skin disease. He had a bunch of sores, and he had worms actually living in him, feeding on his diseased portions of his body. And he felt so much compassion for the worms that, and so much, lack of selfishness, so much selflessness and compassion that even when the worms, they would fall out of his skin, he would pick it up and put it back in. Because he's concerned this worm might lose its sustenance, it needs me, I'm its shelter, and I'm its source of food. So this is someone who externally is suffering so much, but by the power, I guess, by the strength of his devotional service, he's seeing everything in its proper relationship with Krishna. Somehow I have this skin disease, the Supreme Lord has ordered it, and I have this responsibility to these worms. I have to make sure that they are sheltered, so I'm going to keep it up. So it's so amazing. It's like totally groundbreaking. The possibilities that devotional service has for us, although we're not trying to become devotees in order to be able to tolerate great pains or anything like that. It just comes as a natural byproduct of practicing devotional service and proceeding on the path, that you will be able to tolerate things that are so amazing that you could not imagine. And so while we're getting to that stage, I can speak for myself, we have many different choices that we can make in regards to the situations that we're in. By that I mean, like I was saying earlier, with the proper sambandha, the knowledge of our relationship with Krishna, then we have the opportunity to see things in the world either in connection with him, still in connection with him, or for our pleasure. So every good or bad experience that we might have, the choices that we make, the circumstances that we're put in, they're all opportunities for us to see Krishna and to try to understand how I can act in the most pleasing way for Krishna. So this is why, when Krishna is beginning his instructions to Arjuna in the Gita, he says, Matra sparshastu konteya shitoshna sukadukada agama payino nitya tangs tatikshasva bharata. Is that, he says, O Scion of Bharat, one has to be tolerant, titikshava, in this in the sukha dukkha, in the sukha, in the happiness, and the dukkha, the distress that you experience in this world, through the senses, matra sparshas, through the senses where you're experiencing happiness and distress, you have to tolerate them, understanding that they're agama payino nityas, they're just coming and going. They're coming and going. In other words, they're temporary, like winter and summer seasons, like hot and cold, shitoshna. So that's just like the base level. Like we were talking about earlier, base level is that I'm trying to stop my suffering in this world, and I'm a spiritual entity in a material world. I'm trying to understand this and connect with the source, whatever that means. There are different ideas amongst different philosophers. That's the baseline, transcendentalist, ABCs of spiritual life, that I'm not the body, I'm a soul. But then, once we understand the Sambandha, our relationship with Krishna, then even something like that, this instruction that Krishna is giving to Arjuna in the beginning of the Gita, just to tolerate happiness and distress, we have an opportunity to take it a little further. Is that tolerating it is not just, accepting it. Okay, I got this. Okay, I got this. Okay, now I'm happy. Now I'm sad. It's okay. I'm eternal. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. But it's okay, Krishna. How can I best be of service to Krishna? I have this experience. Krishna is putting me in this situation. Clearly there's some kind of lesson that I'm supposed to learn from it. How can I best be of service to him, my spiritual masters, to the devotees? So every situation is an opportunity for us to, express our knowledge, express our, our devotional selves, our better selves, by seeing things in connection with Krishna and acting according to that relationship. And that's Abhideya that we understand. We were just reading in chapter 7 of the Adi Lila at Krishna House in the evenings, And Lord Chaitanya just finished converting all of the Mayavadi sannyasis in Varanasi, headed by Prakashananda Saraswati. And he's telling him that the Vedanta Sutra, the whole summary of the Vedas, it's basically trying to get us at these 3 points: our sambandha, our relationship with Krishna; our abhideya, how to act properly in the relationship; and then the prayojana, what is the ultimate goal of that relationship. And yeah, the verses that we spoke about today, that's actually the concern of Drona and Dara. They say, please permit us to be born on the planet Earth so that after our appearance, the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, the Supreme Controller and Master of all planets, will also appear and spread devotional service, which is the ultimate goal of life, so that those born in this material world may very easily be delivered from the miserable condition of materialistic life by accepting this devotional service. So not only is Krishna concerned about us getting the prayojana, about us having pure devotional service, and a relationship with him reestablished, but also his devotees are very concerned with it, by extension, because Madchitta Madgata Prana, their whole consciousness is in Krishna, and their lives are devoted to him. So Drona and Dara are saying this, please let us be born on the planet Earth, so that the Supreme Lord will come, and that he can spread devotional service, so that everyone can be happy and stop suffering. So we have a lot to be grateful for. It's a really nice opportunity. I feel like I'm saying that word a lot. I'm going to erase that sentence. But we have a lot to be grateful for. The association of devotees, spiritual master, Guru Parampara, all of the acharyas, the beautiful temple room, the paintings, the instruments, talented kirtaniyas, the deity worship going on here, which is really beautiful. I've been to many temples in North America and other places, but yeah, devotees in Radha Kalachandi Dham are very expert in. I mean, what do I know anyways? I don't know much about deity worship, but it's very good here from what I've seen. So there's a lot to be grateful for in the community associating with devotees, and gratitude is the attitude, is what people say. And the amazing thing about devotional service is that one aspect of it is that jnana and vairagya, knowledge and detachment, are naturally coming. It says in the 2nd chapter of the 1st canto that just by practicing devotional service, automatically you get knowledge and detachment. And I don't know, I remember when I was before I became a devotee and before I started really trying to pursue the path of Bhakti Yoga, it was not nearly as easy to be grateful as it is now. And part of it is because I've just by the mercy of the devotees and spiritual masters of Krishna, that I'm practically experiencing more knowledge is coming and more renunciation is coming in little ways. So it becomes easier to be grateful because, wow, I see, oh wow, Krishna's doing so much for me, The universal form in the 2nd canto, the trees are his hairs, the clouds are the hairs on his head, the rivers are like his veins. This entire world is coming from him. He didn't have to arrange it in such a way. Of such nice prasadam and good devotee association, a nice service to engage me. Like, wow, this is so nice. What else would I want to do with my life? This is so amazing. You see the positive things, and it's easier for you to be grateful because you have this knowledge, and then also some vairagya, some detachment. Like, okay, it doesn't always have to go my way. Okay, I got a lemon today. I went to a school and it wasn't really productive, and they were really not so interested in taking books and or whatever it is. We get that expression, you get a lemon. It's, I don't know if everyone knows, it's from like a slot machine. When you gamble, cherries are the symbol, like the 3 symbols. Cherries are usually good and 3 lemons are bad. So it's an American expression. When you get a lemon, it's like you get, you thought you were going to get a cherry, a good thing, but then you got something bad, sour, etc. So, yeah, because this knowledge and detachment is coming, it's easier for us to be detached, or easier for us to be grateful. Okay, yeah, it didn't go my way, but Krishna's in control, sarvakarana karanam. He's the supreme controller. So what can I do? This was his decision. This was his direction in some way. And so how can I direct myself to best be of service. So this is always our prerogative as devotees to be grateful for what Krishna has given us, and to always act in the most pleasing way to him. And it's natural because Krishna is doing so much for us. After you understand someone's kindness towards you, you understand your relationship with them, how they're doing so much for you, how they feel for you, how they care about you. And we might not always understand that with Krishna directly, but we see that with our spiritual masters, our spiritual guides. Srila Prabhupada taking on so much austerity, spending so much time translating these literatures, teaching, preaching, traveling, and his disciples, their disciples, the way that they extend their kindness and the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and the Guru Parampara to us. We understand that it's all coming from Krishna, and he has this care for us too, ultimately. And so, it's natural for us to first recognize it and then become grateful, and then to act in accordance with that relationship. So Krishna is very kind to us. He's appearing in so many forms. He's giving us happiness and distress, different circumstances as impetuses. Impetus. I don't know if that's the right way to form impetus in a plural, but we have so many different impetuses that we can use to go deeper in our relationship with him, which is always available to us. And so we should be kind to Krishna also. We should respect his devotees. We should respect his holy name. We should not take for granted this amazing opportunity that we have, to the extent that we are understanding it properly, which will be to the extent that we're pleasing the spiritual master. Yasya prasadad bhagavat prasado yasya prasadan nagati kutopi. No aprasadan, without the mercy, then you're not gonna get the understanding. So to that extent, we're able to connect with Krishna. We're able to act properly. And so Krishna is kind to us. We should be kind to Krishna. And it's getting close to time. I just want to say that in the purport, Srila Prabhupada gives a nice call to action. In the last paragraph, he says, "Foolish persons do not know how risky life is here if one does not follow the instructions of Krishna. This Krishna consciousness movement, therefore, has been started so that by practicing Krishna consciousness, one can avoid the risky life of this material existence. There is no question of accepting or not accepting Krishna consciousness. It is not optional, it is compulsory. If we do not take to Krishna consciousness, our life is very risky. For the aforementioned reasons, Prakriti Kriyamanani, you can have material energy controlling everything, or you can have Krishna. Well, ultimately, Krishna is controlling everything, but you can either be connected with the inferior energy or the superior energy, and you could be ahankara vimudatma. You can be deluded thinking that you're the doer. So if you do not take to Krishna consciousness, your life is very risky, Prabhupada is saying. Everything is explained in the Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, to learn how to become free from the miserable condition of material existence, Bhagavad Gita as it is the preliminary study. Then if one understands Bhagavad Gita, one can proceed to Srimad Bhagavatam. And if one advances further, one may study Chaitanya Charitamrita. We are therefore presenting these invaluable books to the whole world so that people may study them and be happy, being delivered from miserable conditional life." So Prabhupada says, by studying the books, you will be delivered from miserable conditioned life, and you will be happy. So, this is Prabhupada's little call to action at the end of the purport, is that we have all this literature, and we have the opportunity to study it for our benefit, so that we can understand who is Krishna. This is my experience preparing for this class, that I've never even read the 10th canto. I've never even read Krishna book in its entirety. Probably Jaishnav has read Krishna book 5 times by now. I've never read Krishna book in its entirety. So, this is really for myself as well. When I was preparing it, I was thinking, what happened in chapter 7 anyways? And what's happening in chapter 9? And what even happened in chapter 8? And I was thinking, my God, I have no idea. I have no idea what is, the actual, and this is Krishna's life. This is Krishna. He appeared 5,000 years ago. The traditional understanding, he really came and he really did these things. His lila Prakrita Lila is really happening on this planet. And I've been to Vrindavan. I've gone to these places. Oh, this is the Yamuna, and this is the Ras Mandala, and this is the Govardhan Hill, but still I don't actually know exactly what is the order of the stories in his life as given to us by Shukadeva Goswami and the disciplic succession. So yeah, my realization is that I have to become more serious about reading if I want to understand who Krishna is, and all of the things that I had said before about acting properly in the relationship with him, accepting his mercy in the form of the devotees, the spiritual master, the holy name, etc. And ultimately aspiring for the supreme goal of life, Krishna Prema. So yeah, we have a great opportunity, and I'll open it up for any reflections now. Hare Krishna, thank you for your kind attention. Yeah, please, Prabhu. Thank you for your encouragement.
Absolutely wonderful. I could see such transparent, being thoroughly honest, simplicity, and I can just go on talking about so many good qualities that I see in you. Wonderful. Thank you. You was talking about gratitude, and I just made up in my mind. You are great attitude.
Wow.
It's a
Jai.
great attitude. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah, gratitude is the great attitude.
Thank you, Prabhu. It was so refreshing, expressing the ABCs of spiritual life. I just find myself, I know it's good for me to hear pastime-based classes, but to hear these basics of Bhagavad Gita, I found very refreshing, very invigorating. So I just want to thank you for that. You made many wonderful points, but I just had one question I had is that it's interesting that in the previous verses, Parikshit Maharaj is asking, like, how is it that Yashoda and Nanda got the special mercy, and as opposed to Vasudeva Devaki, even though he said hearing their pastimes, we become about their pastimes with Krishna, we get free from contamination. But what is it about Vasudeva, Nanda and Yashoda? And I was wondering maybe if you could comment, because at one point there, Shukadeva Goswami, Drona and Dara, they addressed Lord Brahma, that we want to appear so the conditioned souls can have access to devotional service. So when you read that, I was wondering, is that the reason why they got that special mercies, because they were concerned about the conditioned souls?
Thank you very much, Kripamoya Prabhu, for your encouragement and your question. This is this is a very technical point, which I didn't really, and I was confused too when I was reading I was like, who is Drona and Dara, and how are they appearing as Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj? Because aren't they supposed to be Krishna's eternal parents? And so this was a question I didn't. Yeah, it is too technical. I didn't research it enough to give a good answer. But I know His Holiness Ramapad Swami has an answer, because I looked it up while preparing for the class, and I think I just looked up like Drona and Dara Srimad Bhagavatam, and then there's this page Ramapad Swami. Someone asked him the same question, and I thought I had my phone. Otherwise, I would read exactly from it because I have it saved. but I didn't bring my phone. Yeah, Prabhu. Yeah, there are probably qualified, I presume there are qualified people here who might know the answer.
Hare Krishna. Well, if I was giving this class, I would have looked at the Acharya's commentaries for a little more insight. But as I was in my class to give, I didn't. But my understanding is that, Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda are the eternal parents of Krishna in Goloka. And then, but there are different incarnations. There are unlimited expansions of the Lord who, exist eternally on other spiritual planets, all the Vaikunthas and so forth. So Krishna has many eternal parents, but they're all expansions of Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda, because Krishna is the fountainhead of all forms of the Lord, right? He's the fountainhead, he's the source of all incarnations. So his parents should be the fountainhead or the source of all other, parents. So then, Drona and Dara are one set of parents. And we see all the different incarnations, like Vamanadev, his parents are Kashyapa and Aditi. So sometimes they appear. So the point that Prabhupada is making in this section, in his purports, is that a sadhana siddha cannot become a parent of Krishna, right? But they have to be nitya siddhas. So it looks like Drona and Dara are performing austerities in order to get the Lord as their son, but actually they're Krishna's eternal parents, and it's kind of like a pastime that they're doing austerities. This just shows us that if you want something good in life, if you want to achieve something, it's going to require some austerity. But they're actually his eternal parents, but they're not the original parents. It's not that Mother Yashoda and Nandaraj are expansions of Drona and Dara, but it's the opposite.
Yes.
Other way around.
Parent Godhead.
From whom all other parents emanate. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Prabhupada Priya Prabhu. Any other thoughts or questions are welcome. If not, then we could end right on time. Grantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vancha kalpachudasya. Koti Vaishnava ki jai.